It's like you can't trust the appraisers on the way up. You can't trust them on the way down. Like, what the fuck do we rely on them so heavily for? What is this crap?
I had an appraisal come back.
The due diligence requirement, right?
Yeah, I had an appraisal come back. I just found out what the appraisal happened a few weeks ago, but I just found out that it came back at the asking price. And everybody was in agreement that this property was not worth what the client paid. And it was like even negotiated before we got the results of the appraisal. Like, well, we know that they've overpaid and these are the terms that we should change and yada, yada, yada. And the appraisal I just found out this week actually came in because the appraiser said, well, that's what they needed it to come in at. And I was just like,
well,
good,
can I get
good
that
for
guy's
me,
phone number, please?
Like I'm looking at February stats, right? Like
give me that guy's number, TK.
I will.
There's only 34 transactions in all of East Gwillimbury.
How many?
34, right? So what type of price discovery is there?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Depending on the type of home.
And how many of those are similar homes?
Could be a farm, could be
same lots.
It could be a brand new build on a postage stamp lot. It could be anything.
So to your point, right? From an appraisal perspective, how much water can it hold? Yeah. And this is
it
where
holds a lot, though. That's the problem. It holds so much. It's like a Nimby. It's like, right? Like they hold so much more weight than they need to.
There's a purpose for it, and that's what the appraisers are there for, right?
AI could do the same job as appraisers.
It's an interesting time, and I think what everybody's got to appreciate is, we'll get through it. It's going to be ugly, but it's time to look at your budgets, pull your bank statements, pull your credit card statements, and focus on the needs. Get rid of the wants. It's going to be a grind, and try to figure out how to get through the next 24 months.
But those are the end users. And I totally agree that the end users, I believe, will prevail because they're Canadians. They're proud of their homes. They're going to get a second job. They're going to cut back the craft dinner diet. They'll make it work. It's the investors that are the ones who screwed everything up. Like the guys I'm dealing with who've bought multiple properties over the last year or two are so bloody over leveraged from so many different lenders. And the LTVs are all like, there's no hope for them.
Are they investors or are they speculators?
They're speculators. They're greedy people who tried to make money in a market without any, like some of them overpaid at the time. And then, now it's even gone down further. The terms, I'm just looking at this going like, what was the plan? And
there was never a spreadsheet that showed like prices going down and interest rates going up, right? Like that
there was never a spreadsheet that showed that their purchase was a good idea.
Well, there's two situations.
I'll bet you there was, though.
There's two camps, right? There's the folks that bought the high rise 4 or 5 years ago. They're still in the money, but they can't get their financing. And then there's the low rise that bought a year and a half ago that don't have any value there anymore.
And they were never planning on moving in.
And well, if they were, they're going to have to ask mom and dad or somebody to help them out, right? And that's another story, and we'll get to that in a sec. But, the high-rise folks, they're trying to just close and try to get rid of the stuff. So there's going to be a flood of property being sold in the marketplace on investor units that don't cash flow. So how exciting is that from an investment perspective? Unless you're getting a really, really big discount. We're starting to see folks walk away from part of their downstroke. So, there's no assignment market. Nobody's buying.
Nope.
And people want the GST. You got to come up with the GST to close.
Yeah, but meanwhile, new launches are selling like great. This LSQ thing, everybody's talking about how unbelievable it's sold for.
Yeah, but they're projecting
North Core condos in North
4 or 5 years, right? So
they don't need to find a solution for 4 or 5 years. It's the people who need solution this year.
Down the road.
But it's like we're learning the lesson as we speak. Like we're learning it real time, and people are still lining up like it's the old trade floors at the stock market, going, "Hey, I'll take 6, I'll take 4, go."
Pre-con freeholds too.
What the fuck is
this
going
week
on?
in Durham region? Lineups at the door.
I don't know why nobody's learning from this. Like, I think. It's just greed. It has to be just greed.
Just greed. Yeah.
Just greed.
Everyone wants to make a quick buck.
I have no sympathy for those folks. Like you know what? They asked me what I could do, and it's probably gonna be private or alternative. And If you're gonna flip it,
12%. Oh,
it's gonna be ugly.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
And it's a
ugly.
temporary solution. You know, your interest only payments, you got renewal fees. Like I've never seen a private mortgage that was not, other than like really creative financing that somebody knew what they were doing because there's a play involved. But on the residential side, it's a temporary solution. There is no,
So
you
let
know,
me, you're dead on.